some of the people who are interested in this report are also interested in the Adopt-A-Park agreement that is on the agenda, and I know we've changed slightly what we intend to do with that, but I wonder, I hate disturbing the order of the agenda. I wonder if out of consideration for some of these people we could move that around. But
well, do you just want to give a report on where we are with the Adopt-A-Park resolution, and
yes.
Then that would be great.
What we're going to ask this morning, staff is going to ask that, one, we're going to pull from the agenda the current Adopt-A-Park program from the agenda of the resolution. And what we are proposing, because what we tried to put together was a standard agreement for both parkland, someone wanting to adopt parklands, but it also could be improvements such as improving trails, and we decided that it would be more appropriate to set a policy that would simply state that would encourage volunteerism in our parklands, but require that anyone who volunteers to either make improvements or to maintain improvements in our parks, that they enter into an agreement with the municipality. Two, that there's a clear process for the volunteers to make those improvements and how they will maintain those improvements, who will be responsible both financially and also in terms of maintenance responsibility. Either it will spell this out in the agreement. And so what we're recommending is, one, that we set that policy at the next meeting. We'll write something up to have a policy and then develop individual agreements for individual groups that would like to either volunteer to maintain a park or volunteer to put improvements in the park that they'll improve and maintain. So that's what we're recommending that we do at this point. And so the next step will be a formal policy statement at the meeting on Monday night, and then from there we'll begin to put together individual agreements for individual parks.
Steve, did you want to, but you can't make a comment if you're not at the mic. Yeah, you can come in.
While Mr. Hiltner is walking up to the mic, Mark, I'd like to remind you that on various occasions we've talked about a policy to adopt a street tree, particularly ash trees, for treatment. Some residents have expressed an interest in doing that. And I'm wondering if the ordinance you're working on can include adopt the street tree as well.
Yeah, and I guess we could fold that in there in terms of an agreement.
Yeah, we might want to go back and see if we already put in some provision like that when we spoke about the ash trees. Now I can't remember if we did or not.
No,
I think we did, yeah.
Hi, Steve Hiltner, Harrison Street. I'm also president of the Friends of Herringtown Woods, and I just want to note that the work we've done over the last 3 years to make Herringtown Woods accessible again, it was completely, the trails were grown over, we couldn't even find some of them, and we had to do a lot of detective work. That was just the arborist at the time saying, okay, go ahead. And no agreement, no need for insurance, none of that. And that's how it happened. And no one else was doing anything. And we went in there and we did it, and it's now thriving once again. So just I want to point out, you may want to begin by talking to those organizations, see what has worked in the past, and start with that, rather than saying everybody has to sign a formal agreement with various stipulations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because these informal things seem to work pretty well. So I'm not saying that a formal agreement isn't appropriate in some cases. In fact, we'd like to have some kind of formal agreement, but have some carrots in there as well as responsibilities and that sort of thing. So there's various ways to get good work done, and it's not always through an agreement. So, thank you.
I just want to respond to you. One of the things that we're trying to do, and that's why we kind of changed the current agreement so we can scale it to what the projects are and make it easier for groups like yourself that are doing this volunteer work. Mm-hmm. So that's why we want to scale it and talk to individual groups and figure out what the details are, so that we're not just some standard agreement everyone has. So we want to encourage people to do that. So what you're indicating here is exactly why we made the change and creating this policy this way.
Okay. And, of course, Friends of Princeton Open Space and our group would be happy to give input on any kind of thing you come up with. So I think I'm right there.
And I do want to thank the Friends of Harrontown Woods. I had the pleasure of walking there this weekend, and I thought I was taking a walk alone in the woods with my dog, and there was suddenly this parade of about 50 people who were there on your tour, which was wonderful. And then I tried to hide so I could be alone again. But no, it's beautiful. The trails are gorgeous and really well marked, and even I can't get lost there anymore. So thank you for all the work
We
that your
wanted to
group
make
has
it
done.
so you could get lost.
Yeah.
Actually. That's kind of a nice thing. But, no.
While we have Steve at the mic, could I just ask can you give us a quick update on what's going on with the Veblen House?
We had, 45 people on our walk about geology in the park Sunday. I guess today's Monday. And we are contacting the county probably in the next week or two to try to formalize something. We'd love to start working on the houses, and I love to do carpentry, and if there's things we have to hire people for, that's fine. But so we've had some contributions. Some generous contributions from Whole Center and from an anonymous donor, and so that's a good start. And we haven't really had to spend much because we try to reuse things and so forth. And we're actually doing a lot of work to clear the grounds around the Veblen House, so you can actually see all the old stone structures there. And we're clearing where there was a nursery for daffodils that Elizabeth Veblen had. So we are going to move forward with, creating an official agreement so we can actually do some positive things with the buildings. So I think the buildings are being pretty patient, seems to me. But anyway, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right.